G'day YouTube, how the heck we doing? It is Foul Play here, back for some more Pauper action. So we're going to be continuing with the Lotus Petal variant of this deck for this leg. Maybe next leg I'll change it up and go back to the Commune just to keep a little bit of diversity happening in that respect. So Lotus Petal has a few strengths of speeding up a bit of a turn, fixing your mana, which can be quite helpful. We don't have too many white sources in this deck between the Plains, Ash Barrens, Utopia Sprawl, and Abundant Growth. That's just 9 cards to hit your white mana, so the Lotus Petal can help with that, help with ramp. Okay, it can also help with tempo a fair bit as well. I guess that and ramp is pretty similar. It's always good to turn one a Utopia Sprawl on your forest and then like Bogle plus Ethereal Armor. It's a pretty nice little play. To help circumvent the card disadvantage of Lotus Petal a little bit, we're going to be running Cetessan Training. We're going to be running this at 3 slots here today with Rancor just at 2 copies. Previously this was flipped, but just want to test it in the reverse direction as we have today, and see if the power toughness, their power is relevant, or if the card draw is more relevant. Yes, it's going to take more than one leg to see that realistically. I just felt like switching it around and seeing what we can do. Elsewhere, we have the full play set of Cartouche, because the Dimir control deck is running lots of Chainer's Edict, and I don't like losing to that card. And we've got a one of Sentinel's Eyes. I could see this card at 2, maybe even 3 copies. If you're playing it to burn, it's pretty good to be able to attack and block at the same time. It works quite well with Crimson Acolyte, because we do have that protection from red. Outside of that, it could be difficult to block your opponent's creature without a card like Spider Umbra or Hyena Umbra, in specifically the burn matchup where they're going to grow pretty big. Alright, with the sideboard, we have Burn Hate, we have Corgate's Hate, also Mirror Hate. We have Gutshot, which is hate for opponents. A standard bearer is also good into elves. We have Flaring Pain for those decks that run fog effects. We have Relic of Progenitors for decks that loop with the graveyard. Young Wolf for the Edict decks, and Krufix's Insights for the decks with Dawnbringer Cleric plus Ephemerate. So pretty comprehensive sideboard here. Currently not running any Scattershot Archer. It seems like Fairies has gone down in playability a little bit, at least at the times that I have been playing. Versus Izzet Fairies for the first time the other day, and that was a much better matchup than the other variants of Blue or Dimir. Alright, we got that out the way. Let's get into the first match of the league. Okay, here we are for the first match here. We lost at Oro vs Jace MTG. We have versed them before. I can't quite remember if it's like a Burn or a Grixis opponent. I think it's something along those lines. Our opponent mulligans to 6. We've done the same. This sounds like a little bit land heavy for me, but yeah. I think the correct decision is to mulligan, but I can very much see if we mulligan, we might just see a worse hand altogether. Nonetheless, I think it's correct to mull. Alright, so we'll keep this one. We'll bottom, and keep this hand. I guess we can get a turn 3 mask on an evasive creature, which is nice. Alright, so it looks like it's... Sorry, I'll pull up the card preview, which seemed to be down there for whatever reason. So it looks like we're against a Hate Bears deck, which is possibly troubling. Ethereal Armor was a fantastic draw, though. Hopefully they don't have main deck Chainer's Edict, or we could be in a little bit of trouble. I don't think there's like a hugely amazing way to sequence this out. I think we just Ledgewalker Ethereal Armor, get blown out by Chainer's Edict, not much we can do about it. If we get to untap and attack with Mask, it's going to be huge though. That'll be an attack for 8. Alright, opponent with Bejuga Bog, throwing down double white, and we have Spare Supplies. ETB's tapped, ETB's draws a card. Alright, so it's just like a bit of a black-white value deck, I suppose. Currently Currently we have 3 mana here, 4 here. We can't Citizen Training and Ancestral Mask in the same turn. We have the option to, as we were saying before, attack for 8 damage. I think the better line is probably to look for a creature here though. I'm probably going to just play the Ash Barrens because it's the most mana efficient way to do it. So go ahead and do that. Look for the creature. Alright. It's not quite what we wanted to see. We'll throw that down anyway. So it's going to be an attack for 5 instead. Sorry, 6 instead. Which is only 2 damage less. Alright, opponent plays Coalition Honor Guard. While an opponent is choosing targets as part of casting a spell on an ability they control, that player must choose a flag bearer as a target. Alright, well, we're just going to go ahead and start attacking with this guy. I don't really want to give our opponent an Ancestral Mask, so we've got a decent clock as long as we fade Chainer's Edict. Alright, and naturally, Chainer's Edict from our opponent, so that's going to be about enough for us to concede, I think. Looks like this opponent plays a lot of Pestilence lists. I got them way wrong off my recollection. Alright, well, we drew dead. Let's go to Sideboarding. Alright, so here we can see a league our opponent 5-0'd, a list our opponent 5-0'd with on just the 11th of January this year, so only less than a week ago. We can see Thrabian Inspector, Dawnbringer Cleric as a 4-of. That's going to be a very frustrating one. Core Skyfisher for value, Inspiring Overseer for value, Honor Guard because I guess our opponent hates us a little bit. Disciple of the Sun we don't care about. 3 Chainer's Edict main deck, so it's pretty reasonable that they'd find it. 2 Suffocating Fumes main deck. Also, Omen of the Dead to return the likes of Dawnbringer Cleric from the graveyard to hand. Sideboard, more Chainer's Edict. Arms of Hadir. And Core Sanctifiers. Alright, so a fair bit of annoying stuff for us. Let's go to our sideboarding. Reminder guys, if you enjoy this video or find it informative, please consider subscribing for more content like this. So we definitely want Crewfix's insight into a Dawnbringer Ephemerate deck. Standard Bearer is good into our opponent's larger bearer. Young Wolf is also extremely necessary. Relic of Progenitus is a consideration. We want to keep in our Citizen Training and Cartouche because they can only target creatures we control, so it circumvents our opponent's flag bearer effects. I think Rancor is probably a little bit weaker than Citizen Training anyway. We probably don't want to overboard too much. I don't think I'm going to have room for Relic at this point. So probably something like this, 2 Rancor, 2 Mask, 1 Sentinel's Eyes, 1 Armadillo Cloak out. We got the Crewfix's Insights to help hit our big cards anyway, so hopefully we do alright. Alright, well this is about almost as perfect as it gets. We'll go ahead and keep this one. We have a little bit of trouble getting to white mana with this hand, but at least we have 1 Cartouche we can cast, which is pretty handy. Oh goodness, just real quick as well, our opponent's also playing Pestilence, which is almost unbeatable. So I think it's fine cashing in the Lotus Petal on this first turn. It's only punished on drawing exactly Utopia Sprawl. I think the upside of the extra point of damage could be worth it, so we'll go ahead with that one. Pachuca Bog immediately for our opponent. Alright, well, I suppose we've been punished thoroughly here. Go ahead and attack. So a little bit of setup for next turn. Definitely good to see Utopia Sprawl anyway, because that does develop white. Opponent with the second Pachuca Bog. They do have 3 copies of this in their deck. Alright, so I think it's fine to go in with Citizen Training here. Or should I just Cartouche Bogle? It's a little bit weak into Suffocating Fumes at 3 mana if we throw all our creatures down. I don't see any 1 mana killer creature effects, so I think our warrior token is safe. Let's go ahead with Citizen Training, see if we hit our mana source. We don't. Still pretty aggressive. We should be able to get there this game. Alright, opponent with Suffocating Fumes. He cycles this one. This is during our opponent's turn on turn 3 after missing a land drop. So now we see Young Wolf. We still can't Ancestral Mask. Let's go ahead and Ethereal Armor here. Well, Young Wolf here. That's pretty good protection from our opponent. Knock them all the way down to 5 and give them very little time to recover. Alright, our opponent just scoops and we go back to sideboarding. I don't see too many changes I want to make sideboarding wise. Maybe we could trim on Lotus Petal, but I do like the tempo, especially when being on the draw. Alright, opponent mulligans to 6. We see a very, very strong looking 7. Definitely going to keep this one. Alright, opponent with Crossroads initially, getting a couple of life there. We draw Abundant Growth, which helps with our mana generation. Cantrip still card draw, so that's not too bad. Arabian Inspector. Also, Scoured Barons from our opponent. Find Utopia Sprawl, even better. This is fantastic. Our draws have been actually really, really well timed here. Perfect for curving out appropriately. I think Abundant Growth down here is fine. We might like lose out on the Ash Barons a little bit there, but that should mostly be okay. Let's go ahead and attack for 2. Alright, opponent with Core Skyfisher, so a bit of a slower hand from them. They did mulligan to 5, I believe, this match. Yeah, so it was 5 cards they started with, so they're a little behind on resources. I think Abundant Growth here plus Armadillo Cloak is fine. Find another Utopia Sprawl. That's pretty interesting. Alright, so I guess we throw that down here. That can go for white as well. And we can finally unleash this one. Alright, we'll go on attack. We have really well developed mana for our future turns. Next turn we can crew fix his Insight plus maybe an aura or 2 off the top. Alright, opponent with Overseer, and this is definitely the half of our opponent's deck we want to see them playing out. Plus the Arabian Inspector, replayed, sure. So 2 cards remaining in their hand, attacking with the Skyfisher. Crew fixes Insight again, okay, well. Guess realistically it doesn't matter how we spend our mana, as long as we spend it. Do we want double armor or do we want armor cartouche? Opponent has a bit of a board. We have Armadillo Cloak for trample, so we can realistically like race pretty well here. Oh wait, we get 3. Never mind. Okay. I don't have to choose or anything. I can have my cake and eat it too. How lovely. Oh my god, this is absolutely revolting right now. Alright, so we just attack for lethal. Opponent concedes before we can even do that. Yeah, that went about as perfect as it could have. I'm pretty happy after getting destroyed a bit in game 1, how well games 2 and 3 went. Thank you all very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please consider leaving a comment or a like down below. Until next time, have a wonderful day. I'll see you then.